Hey, you're watching From Prison to Purpose. My name's Jimmy McGill, and I'm an author, speaker, and the host of the show. I am a returning citizen who has been to prison multiple times and found a life worth living anyway. I am more than just a felon or a number, and I'm all of these things, most importantly, because I am a person in recovery. And today's episode is going to be From Fentanyl to Freedom. You are going to hear from one of my favorite men that I've ever had the privilege to work with, Kai Fung, who is a Clarksville native who was released from Johnson County Jail into Next Step Recovery Housing 9 months ago. And in 9 months' time, Kai has turned his life around and created a life worth living. Kai, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about withdrawals from fentanyl in jail.
So automatically, I when I got into jail, I just slept for at least a day or two. But when you wake up, your whole body is hurting. You're having muscle spasms. The worst thing is the cold, hot sweats. You can never get comfortable, and especially when you're on a metal rack and there's a little blanket covering you, so you're just shivers all over.
Freezing.
Yeah, and what's terrible, the worst part about it is if you sneeze, like your bowels are it's just loose, like you it's like flu-like symptoms, So you sneeze and you'll go all over yourself, just make a mess, and any smell just automatically makes you start puking. Like it's you feel like death, absolute death. And it's not the first time I experienced withdrawals. I'm going through 13 years of using opiates. I go through withdrawals a lot, but this was the only time I was in jail going through withdrawals, and there's nothing to comfort it.
It just made it worse.
Yeah, only time. You can only just try to sleep it off. And even when the physical withdrawals pass, the mental withdrawals stay there for quite a while. The depression, the anxiety, you just want to use. So I'm trying to figure out every way possible to get out of jail just to get high so I can feel better.
Well, what are the other inmates doing while you're detoxing and withdrawing in jail?
Well, they're just hanging out.
While you're throwing up and pooping, they're just chilling.
Yeah, well, I didn't make my cellie very happy, but I had a older gentleman in there, and he was a bit more understanding. And I knew like two of the guys in there already because the hometown, so it's a small area.
Yeah.
So I would like to say they're more patient with me than most people would be, because that's where you live and sleep, and I'm just making a mess of their home.
Now, was that your first time in jail?
That was my first time in jail. Yeah.
How long were you there?
8 days.
8 days.
8 days.
So most of your jail time was mental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was locked up in my head for the whole time I started. As soon as I started using, it was like a prison in your head.
So I think you're pretty unique right there in that way, because most people have to go do more than 8 days of jail before they find a way out.
Yeah. I think, but see, I didn't find my way out. I didn't have that desperation when I was in jail. I had the desperation to get out to go use, not to get help.
So when you came home from jail, what was the only thing you wanted to do?
No, I just wanted to get high. And I didn't go home. I came to Next Step. So I'm sitting in a recovery house with a bunch of people who try to get their lives together. And in my head, I'm just trying to figure out ways to get high. So it took I'll be honest with you, it took about 6 months of recovery for me to lose the desire to use. It was a good month being at Next Step before I realized like this is a better life. I didn't lose the desire to use immediately, but I stopped trying to actively get something in my hand.
So when you were doing that, when you were in jail for those 8 days, did you see anything crazy in there?
I didn't see too much crazy stuff going on. I will say, man, there's a guy in jail that I was in jail with, and he was a big part of my past and someone I really didn't like. And he didn't like me. It had a lot to do with the the girlfriend I had at the time, things like that, and I get in there and it was just an eye opener. Like, this is the one person I probably didn't want to see.
And you're trapped
ever.
with him.
Yeah, I'm trapped with him. And he's still a couple of cells down, but it wasn't that bad. We didn't communicate much.
Did he threaten you?
No, he didn't threaten me.
He didn't want to smoke with Big Kai.
I'm telling you, man. He didn't want the smoke. Man,
good.
I think, but being in jail with him was an extremely humbling experience. Because
now, was this your plug or something?
Yeah, at one point he was my plug. At one point he was sleeping with my girlfriend.
Ain't it funny the way the dope man always does that?
That's crazy. And it's crazy how God works, puts you in jail with them too.
Yeah.
After everything that happened.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 days in jail, and they release you to a recovery house. You're at next step, and the only thing you want to do is get high. Tell me about that.
So I'm sitting. I get there. As soon as I get there, I'm raggedy, of course, and I'm sleeping in this top bunk. I'm a big dude. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. How'd you get up there?
I used the dresser. Okay. I had to get a stool, or I got something. I hopped up on the dresser because the ladder is hard on my feet. So I get on the dresser and jump up on the top bunk. And the whole thing's shaking. Like,
yeah, I had no idea that you were on a top bunk.
I was for good.
Chelsea had no idea you were on a top bunk. If Chelsea would have known that, she would have went off on whoever put you on the top bunk.
I was there for a little bit, and but as soon as I get there, I get my phone back. I was in jail for 8 days, so I got a lot of people hitting me up. And of course, the first thing I'm doing when I get to the next step is lay in the bed and just be on my phone, telling people where I'm at, what I'm doing. And it ain't a thing for me to be like, hey, man, pull up, come pick me up. And
yeah, you're from here. Like, you had people all over the recovery. I mean, you could have had people pulling up left and right to get you out of the recovery house.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends in active addiction, he lived not even 2 miles down the road, on Highway 21, the same place.
Yeah.
And but I knew the only thing that really stopped in the back of my head is I knew, like, if I got picked up, where am I going to go? After I get high, where am I going to go? I did play the tape all the way through early on.
Yeah.
And I think that stopped me from really getting something, but I had to hit up a lot of people to try to make something work. And then it's crazy.
So you're at next step trying to get high day one. Like, you trying to figure out a way to get that sack.
Yeah. I had
what was you going to do about the cameras?
Man, I had figured out where the cameras were. At least I thought.
Yeah.
And I just knew maybe, like, there's a back door right here. Maybe I'll just ninja myself away around these cameras. Ain't nobody going to see a truck pull up by the neighbor's house. And then I can sneak back in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I figured out somewhere to hide my sack, my straw, everything. And,
where was you going to hide your sack at?
Man, and right beside that top bunk, there's a wall, but it's not all the way built to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I was going to hide it right there on top of the wall.
On top of it. That's not a very good hiding place.
No, it's not, because
That'd be the first place I look, Kai.
Yeah. But I was like, hey, man, this is right beside me. I'm going to hide it right here.
Yeah.
And
I can see you trying to sneak around the cameras, man.
Hey, I had it all figured out. And until I realized that there was, later on, I found out there was a camera pointing towards that catio. And I was like, dang.
Would have had you. Would have got you. It would have been a bad look for us to catch you sneaking out on night one.
Yeah, it would have been. And so I thank God that I didn't do that. The next day, I gave my phone away for a good week, just so I could.
Who'd you give your phone to?
Joseph.
Yeah, that was a good idea, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were you in jail for?
I was in jail for like a couple months before that, maybe 6 months. I was on the interstate driving recklessly, and I got pulled over for reckless driving, and they found some foil and a straw in in my wallet, the foil, the straw was in the floor, and they gave me a misdemeanor paraphernalia charge.
That's good. They could have
Yeah,
hit you with some serious.
you could hit me with a felony, and I had no proof of insurance, reckless driving, and of course, I never went to court because I'm high all the time. I'm not going to go to court.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I don't listen. I would go to court with the guys, and I would be sitting in the courtroom with our guys who are at Next Step. You know, because when they show me like you did, that they want to live, they don't want to die high, that they want a life worth living, and they start fighting for their lives in recovery. You know, Chelsea and I will go to court with them. We'll fight with them sometimes, not all the time. But we would go to court with some of the guys, and there would be all these people and standing up in front of the judge, and the judge asking them, well, "Why didn't you come to court?" And they were just making up excuse after excuse after excuse. And then Ned goes up there, and that's who I'm with at court. And they asked Ned, and this is just the difference in the mindset, right, of somebody in recovery. They asked Ned, they said, "Hey, man, how come you didn't show up for court when we let you out of jail?" And Ned said, "Your Honor, how could I come to court? I was high. I couldn't be at the dope house and at the court at the same time. I had to choose one, and using was more important." I'm like, man, that's as real as it gets. You know what I mean? Like that's as real and raw as it gets. Yeah. How the hell can I be here, Judge, when I got to get high?
Yeah. And it's a lot more peaceful when you can be honest like that too.
Yeah. But most people don't hit that stage right off the bat. You know, that's a process. Recovery is a process, just like breathing is a process. You know, I'm alive today because I'm inhaling and exhaling breath.
Yeah.
In order for me to be alive tomorrow, it's suggested that I take a few breaths tomorrow. Right? It's a process. And so is recovery. So what was it like that first week out of jail in the recovery house? Did you make any friends?
I got really close with it was a couple days of being there. I got close with Colton. I know Colton got there, and the first thing we did is he pulled out his phone and showed me a bunch of his raps and his freestyles. And, yeah, and we clicked right off the bat. And you know, I clicked with John and Bobby right off the bat, and you know, I looked up to them. They were like the house dads, you know. And Michael Parker guided me through everything I needed. You know, gave me all the advice that I needed. They all made me feel really comfortable. And I think that was important because when I first got there, of course, I wasn't talking to anybody. I literally sleep all day. And it was just kind of tense because you're not comfortable, you know. And it didn't help that I just wanted to get high. So them making me feel at home really kept me there and kept me sober. Yeah. And I think that was very important for me.
Yeah. The bunkhouse isn't like that right now.
Yeah, it's a little different than when I first got there.
Yeah. Well, there's always a turnover, and you know, we had some older cats who were serious about recovery when you got there, and right now we don't really have that in the bunkhouse.
Yeah.
So there's no mentorship at the moment, you know.
Yeah, and now that I look at it, that was important because I had, you know, again, Bobby and John for mentorship.
Yeah.
And Michael Parker, and then Todd King, Scott Finney, all those guys really help me, you know, get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, man.
Just their presence.
Do you still talk to Scott? Do you ever hear anything or see him?
I haven't. I was praying for him yesterday. It was the day before because I was thinking of all the guys who came through here and made a huge impression on me.
Scott, yeah.
Yeah, and Scott was one of them. Because I know Bobby went to, you know, Scott's town for a meeting, and I asked if he'd seen him there. He said he hadn't seen him there, but I pray for Scott all the time.
Yeah,
every day.
Yeah, I love Scott. He was a good dude, man. He's a good dude.
He really is.
So what happened with the charge after you got released into the recovery house?
I got OR'd into the recovery house. The charges, well, I went back to court, and I guess something with whoever was handling my paperwork said that I wasn't at the house anymore. I didn't complete the program, and I left in the wrong way.
Wow, that's a big. That's not true because you're still there.
Yeah, I still live there, and I told her that, but she can only go by what the docket says. And I didn't
Wow.
have anyone there. I didn't think I needed anyone there or any letter or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate here because the judge has her own program that she can offer you to knock all your fines off. And I signed up for that program on top of what I'm doing, and they worked with me, and I just took like an extra couple hours of drug and alcohol counseling, and they knocked I think I had like $1,600 of fines and knocked it down to like $150.
Yeah. So how long have you been clean now?
What was it the other day? I put it, so it's 266 days.
Boy, counting them days.
Yeah,
They're important to you. I like
they
it.
really are.
I like it.
I haven't had any days clean in the last 13 years, so this is the first time. First time recovery, everything.
This is your first time in recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long did you get high?
I started, so I think, look, I took my first sip of alcohol when I was 10 years old. And, from there, it became a weekend thing, party with friends. But I was very oblivious to hard drugs. I wasn't raised in a heavy using household. I was basically raising myself. My mom worked 3 waitressing jobs to take care of 3 kids, but I stuck around the right crowd. Now, whenever I graduated high school, I had found, marijuana, and that led to me using opiates, and it quickly progressed.
What was what did it feel like that first time you did an opiate?
Oh man. I will say, like, my whole childhood, I'm always looking for like a family or brotherhood to be in. That was my close friends, and then sports and things like that. And when I go to college, I join another brotherhood, a fraternity, and then of course I'm not going to classes. I'm getting high, smoking marijuana, getting drunk, and it all falls off. And one day, I used to hustle, write essays for people, and they would pay me, and that was my hustle, man. And
how much did they pay you?
I charged $50 a essay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much, but hey, it got me what I needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got you that sack.
Yeah. And then my weed dealer at the time, he was in college with me. He needed an essay, and I wrote him one. And we're sitting there at my buddy's house, and I give him his essay. I'm like, man, you got that 50? He's like, no, but I got something else. And he pulls out this little blue pill. Oh, what's that? He's like, it's a Roxy. It's an oxycodone, 30. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? And, he chopped it up for me right there and, snorted it. And man, that first feeling, I was chased that feeling for 13 years going forth,
What was that feeling? What did it feel like?
Man, one way to describe it is that, like, if you're ever lost and that one hit, it made you feel like you were home. Like, it was just a warm feeling that comes over you. You're comfortable, the happiest person I could ever be. No stress, no worries. I didn't care that I was failing out of college. I didn't care that, my hometown was looking down on me. I didn't care about anything,
That pill lied to you.
Yeah.
That pill told you a good lie,
yeah. And see, every time I felt alone, that hit made me felt comfortable, felt like I was found. You know what I mean? Like, it really made me be okay with not being anything.
Yeah.
That pill for that time being, that hit made me feel like something.
Yeah. So what's your relationship like with because you got a brother and a sister and your mom. What's your relationship like with your mom and your siblings while you're getting high?
So I hate to say, it was an okay relationship. I manipulated them to the fullest and hid my addiction as best as I could. And, they were supportive and they loved me and they didn't want to see me fail. So we had a good relationship for a while. Um, but then eventually, like I would ask for money, my mom would give me some money, and then I would just ignore her for months.
So what's one of the like? Can you tell us one of the lies that you would tell them in order to get money out of them?
Yeah, man, my phone's about to get shut off. Mom, I just started a new job. I get a paycheck next week. Can you send me $100? I need some food too. That's the one thing that I used a lot. I'm a big dude, but she would never let me go hungry.
Yeah.
I need some food, Mom, and she would send it to me. My brother, he's he has his he's very strict, and he wouldn't do that. But my mom and my sister have like a soft spot for me, soft heart for me. So they, I hate to say that they were enablers because I manipulated them to be.
But they were.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a saying in recovery that if you baby the person in addiction, you'll bury the person in addiction.
Yeah,
Do you believe that?
I believe that to the fullest. I think there's still a part of you that even if your family's babying you, it's up to you. You have to make that decision. You know, but then the families that are babying you, they have to make that decision to love you from a distance.
So what would you say to the moms and the dads who are going to watch this or hear this that have a child still in active addiction and they want to give them stuff and provide them hotel rooms and buy them food? What would you say to the mom and dad who are still providing for the kid in addiction?
That's difficult. But first and foremost, pray heavy. My mom prayed for me all the time, and I think it finally worked. Another thing is you can offer them services or people that can get you into recovery and stuff, but just handing them money is almost the same as handing them the drug.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, what a power line. So moms, dads, if you're listening to what Kai just said, I think, man, that is so powerful, right? When they hand the addict money, they might as well be handing him a sack of dope.
And that's true because every time even if I would work a job or if my family would give me money, as soon as I got it in my hand, I would look at every dollar of how much I can get. All the way up until the last dollar, I get a pack of noodles.
Yeah, our perception changes, man.
Yeah.
We are so powerless over the disease of addiction, man. Like when we're caught in that cycle and it's active and running rampant, like we have no mental defense for that, man. Yeah. We our whole perception changes, man.
It really puts you in animalistic survival mode.
Yeah.
Because it's for me, with opiates, I had to use to physically feel normal.
Yeah.
Without it, I would be so sick that I couldn't move. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I was in survival mode all the time.
Yeah. Can you talk about any of the stuff that you did when you were in addiction to get dope? Without incriminating yourself. Right. I know you're early in recovery.
Right. Well, I even hate saying it, but I used to call it scheming and demon. Like I would
scheming and demon.
Scheming and demon.
Yeah.
I would figure out ways. You need a sack. Okay, I'm gonna upcharge you this so I can get my own, and then make you share with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And every day was like that. You literally always trying to see,
who you can get over on.
Yeah, who you can get over on, or who has a soft heart that will let you borrow a little bit of money. And then what's the insanity of it is whenever you run out and you have no options, I would sit on my floor, scraping pins for resin for hours. and end up scraping or end up
Plastic,
smoking
everything.
you end up just smoking plastic. And then after that, you still keep scraping it. You know what I mean?
What's that plastic make you feel like?
Man, it don't taste good. I'll tell you that much. But the mental part of it is like you think like, oh, maybe I got a little hit out
Just
of that.
one more, just a
Maybe
little
there's
piece.
more,
You
you know
know,
what I'm
it's,
saying?
it's so crazy too, man. You can have $500 worth of stuff, and we'll tell ourselves, I'm not going to do any of this till I sell $400 worth and get that
Yeah.
money. And then after I do that, I'm going to use.
Uh,
And then you can't, you don't even get $10 sold, and you start using and you use all that up, and you're like, well, shoot, I just need $5 more worth. And you're like, what the hell is $5 going to do for that
Yeah.
500 didn't do?
right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. And we're just powerless over it, man.
Yeah, there'd been 1,000 times over and over that I would could only afford, you can get fentanyl in a pill form or a powder form.
Yeah.
Most of the times I got it in a pill form. I would get one pill and like I would stretch it out for a good while because I would just obsess over it. So I would just take tiny hits throughout a couple of days. And then when I had enough money to get like 10 or 20 pills, they'd be gone in 2 days.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Scared of getting dope sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to make that one pill last, but you're running through the big pack.
Yeah, because you just want to keep hitting it. You're like, I got more. You get down to one pill, then you slowly just try and make it stretch as much as you can.
So did anything bad ever happen to you by other addicts when you were in addiction that were trying to get, did they ever rob you or jump you?
No, I got robbed plenty of times. Never got beat up. I'm thinking, for one, I'm a pretty nice guy. For two, they probably don't want the smoke.
Yeah.
But I got robbed a lot by close friends.
Robbed or ripped off?
A couple times robbed, a lot of times ripped off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what was it like when they robbed you? How was that?
Well, I wasn't like, it wasn't like an aggravated robbery, but I'd be gone from my house, and my girlfriend at the time had let some people in to the house. It was a very toxic relationship.
Clearly.
Yeah. And I got all my clothes taken, shoes, everything like that. But I tell you, the ripped off part was just me asking for it because,
did you know the people that robbed you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what would you hit all good friends? What the hell was you going to do with bad friends?
Right. They were good. As much as you could say good friends in active addiction. And here's the thing is you would know that they robbed you, confront them, but y'all are always using together. So somehow down the road, it'd be forgiven.
Oh, you got that sack. I'm going to forgive you for hitting a lick on me. Yeah. But we're going to get high and then we'll be mad at each other tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you have done if you'd have seen somebody wearing your shoes?
Man. I'd be upset, but the thing is like,
but if they had that bag,
yeah, then you know what I mean. I'd be upset, but if they had something for me, then all's forgiven, man. Charge it to the game. That's what everyone will say.
Crazy.
Charge it to the game. You know what I mean?
Hearing you say that, I can't help but laugh at the insanity because I get it, man. I'm not laughing at you. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, man. So now that you're 266 days clean, what's life look like for you today? No more jails, no more fentanyl. You found freedom.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
I go to work every day. I love to go to work.
You got a good job?
I have an amazing job and I think every job it's good if you perceive it that way. You have to really, get yourself ready for hard work sometimes. I sling turkeys at a turkey plant, so you can have something to eat for Thanksgiving.
So you went from slinging pills to slinging turkeys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and the turkeys ain't nobody breaking in your house for a turkey.
No, what I mean, it's hard work, but it's rewarding, mentally, because for one, you're not getting paranoid when you leave work or when you're at work. You're not tripping on if someone's going to rob you. You're not dope sick. You know, you're just, you feel happy and proud that you did a hard job today, and you're gonna go home and just relax and hang out with the guys.
Yeah.
That's I get most excited about coming home and hearing Bobby just talk smack to me. I think it really gets me going. I like it.
So I want to say you're the second. Ty, didn't we have somebody else in here that talked about Bobby talking smack to him? I mean, that must, I guess I need to go have Bobby talk smack to me.
I mean, so it's crazy because it's a weird relationship. But I get home and I've been at work all day, and Bobby would be like, "Well, why'd you leave your cup on the counter, punk?" I'm like, "Bobby, I just got home, bro. I don't care. Go clean the cup."
He's so institutionalized, man. I will never forget that we put him in charge of the bathroom upstairs. And so for the listeners, Bobby's been to prison like 14 times. He's been at Next Step for 10 months. The first time in his life he's ever had a life worth living. But he's like a barbarian stereotypical convict that you would see on a prison movie. Like, Bobby jumps out of the shower, butt naked, runs out in the hallway. His tool is just swinging.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I ain't going to tell you effing punks one more time. Clean this bathroom, bitches." And I'm like, whoa, Bobby, you can't talk to people like that, Bobby.
Right.
And profanity doesn't equal spirituality, and that's not acceptable. And he's like, "I ain't gonna keep telling these punks." He's Bobby's a trip, man.
Yeah, but he's a good dude. He really expresses his love in a different way, but he expresses it.
Well, he doesn't know any other way.
Yeah.
He's like you. He grew up in the game, man.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship like with mom, dad, brother, sister?
They are all proud of me for what I'm doing.
I bet.
And it's hard for me to accept it sometimes because I know in the back of my head this is what I'm supposed to be doing the whole time. You know what I mean? The whole time in my life. I should have been doing this from the get, but it really makes me feel good that they never abandoned me,
Yeah. Do you think they should have?
Yeah, 100 times over.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, that's okay, man.
My mom did a lot to make sure that we had the life we lived, and
it's okay.
I just spat on her and disrespected her the whole time.
That's a symptom of addiction. That's what we do.
And but they're all my best friends.
Yeah, she's seeing you. She's seeing the baby that you were meant to be now, Kai.
Yeah. She's getting a little bit older. She's retired, and she made an effort to leave the middle of Texas to come surprise me on a weekend with my sister.
How'd that make you feel?
Amazing. And that was the first time I'd seen my mom in almost 2 years. I had ghosted them every holiday because I'm either high or sick.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I've seen her since then, and it was a blessing. It's how it should have been 1,000 times over. And I'm fortunate to have the support system that I do.
Yeah. So if your mom's watching this, what's one thing you'd say to her right now?
I love you so much, Mom.
Yeah.
That's my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty close to your sister too. I see her commenting a lot on our stuff. Like, she's probably watching right now.
Yeah, she was excited to. When are you gonna do your podcast? When are you gonna do that? And so she knows that I'm doing it today. She's an amazing human being that never gave up on me.
Yeah,
never.
Well, you are a very lovable dude, Kai. Like, we've got almost 150,000 followers on Facebook, and you're one of the favorite people that they ask about. Like, they followed the trip when you went on the leadership
Yeah.
summit with me and Colton and Scotty, and we went to Louisiana, and they just follow your progress, man. They love you, dude. Like, you're all smiles, you got this glow about you. And so when I hear your story, it's hard for me to see you breaking in houses and hitting licks and doing what we do to use, man. Because I see the guy that cooks enough food to feed the new guys in the house. I see the guy who gives the guy a ride to the store that just got here and needs something, and I see the brighter side of the life you've got today.
I think the biggest thing is I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
And I
You're
think,
living.
yeah, and that really changes your perspective and your view of things. It really makes your feelings come out more. Used to, I didn't care as long as I got my hit. Doesn't matter what happens to you.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you came out of jail and you came to Next Step and you're laying in your bed trying to figure out how to ninja yourself away around the cameras to go get high, did you ever see yourself becoming a leader in the center?
No. I'll be real with you, and I'll be just completely honest with you. Even whenever I decided, well, I'm not going to do this, I was making reservations in my head. At 6 months, I'm going to go get high. Like,
That's crazy.
I'm going to figure something out.
You just want to learn how to use manageably.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to work the program as best as I can because I know it's a better way to live. But I never got the. It's crazy, the insanity, because I always had thought about, well, I never got to properly say goodbye to the drug that I loved for so long, and so I'm making reservations all the way to 6 months. Well, 6 months hits, and the thoughts are rolling through my head, and I was sitting at work, and the craving was just huge, and so I closed my eyes and I just asked God, please take this away from me, over and over again. Please take this away from me. Please take this away from me. And from that day on, the desire to use isn't there. I don't want to go back to it. I don't want to taste it ever again. I know that one hit's going to turn into my life all the way back downhill, if not dead.
Yeah.
So when I say it took me 6 months to lose the desire to use, it literally did. I had the craving every day up until then.
And now look at you.
And it's been 3 months since 6 months. Almost, 9 months will be February or January 6th. And it's been rewarding. It's a blessing.
Yeah. Do you think Next Step contributed to some of that life you're living in recovery?
Yeah, fully. I think it's a mixture of support system, which Next Step is the support system, and they really give you the tools that you need to stay clean, and also brought me closer to God.
Yeah.
And I think that everything mixed together, you have to have a good balance, can really progress you into, staying clean and living a happy, successful life.
Yeah. Have you seen any crazy stuff since you've been in the recovery house? At the recovery house?
Yeah. Quite a bit, I guess.
Tell me one of them good stories. Something wild and crazy you saw while living in a recovery house.
Man, I think when the guy who came in here and said that that the government is watching us while you know what I'm saying, they put THC in a system, that was crazy to me, because
Aaron.
Yeah, it's crazy because mental illness is real.
Yeah.
And I had been blinded by other people's mental illnesses until I really came into recovery. And you really do see paranoia and schizophrenia even after they're clean. And I think that was a huge eye opener for me.
We've seen some crazy stuff, ain't we, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, man, what happened, man? He said, you're not going to believe me. You're going to make me leave if I tell you. And I said, try me. He said, the United States government put that THC in my bloodstream and in my urine because they have figured out a way to listen and watch through my eyes and everyone else's eyes. And they're upset with me because I've figured out, and they know that I know they can do that. And I said, so you're saying the government made you fail this drug test because they are watching us through your eyes, and they know, and you know that. And he said, yes. And he was as serious as could be, Kai. So I just looked at Zach in the straw hat, and I looked back at him and I said, son, if they're watching you, you can't stay here. You know? Like,
that's a different kind of help that you need.
Yeah, that's a higher level of care. I wasn't trying to be funny. It's actually a tactic, a technique called rolling with resistance. And it's how you handle the situation in the moment that you're in there so that you get the least amount of resistance and get the person to the place they need. Like, I wasn't clowning on him. Like, if the feds are watching you through your eyes and looking at me, you got to go. You put us all in danger. But, I got him a safe place. I rented him a room. I put him in contact with mental health counselors and stuff that night. Now, what he did with it after that's on him. But,
of course.
So 10 months clean, huh?
Yeah,
9 months.
9 months on January 6th.
Okay.
And I haven't been this clean since, age of 10, I started drinking.
Yeah.
When you say clean, like, that's all substances.
So what was your first accomplishment in recovery?
My first accomplishment in recovery, I think, was, one, I stay at my job and I work hard. I think that was a huge accomplishment for me to wake up every day and go to work. I haven't kept a job longer than a couple months since I've been getting high. And if I did, it's because I try to manipulate and play the system.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. The job I have, I missed 3.5 days the first 2 weeks working there. And nobody thought I would make it this far, but I remember still going to work every day.
Yeah.
And it's still good. I got a car.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, where it went from the job. So tell me about that.
I will say, it's an accomplishment because, I didn't pay for it, but someone that I don't even know had seen my journey and they donated the car. And it's gotten me to where I needed to go every day and it's still staying strong.
Yeah.
And what's good about that is I made a promise that I'm going to keep. I thought about it, but I'm really going to keep the promise. But whenever I buy a new car, I'm going to give that car away to someone at the house.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you got a bank account?
Yes.
Okay. So you went from sitting in jail to having a bank account, a car, a job, 9 months clean, relationship with God and your family.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's a pretty big transition.
I think it is. I think mentally is the one I'm most proud about.
What's the biggest challenge that you've had to face being clean and sober?
I think making the amends with the people that I've really, disappointed and, screwed over. And it's still a process. It's a challenge because I have put some of those people off. And when the time comes to make those amends, it's going to be really hard. A little more humbling, simpler challenge I face is I'm not using a drug every day, so I find something else to use. I've gained 60 pounds in recovery. I think I've gotten big, so I think that's my next challenge. Is I need some weight management.
Okay,
that's just being honest. I'm not afraid to say it because I embrace it, but
self-acceptance.
Yeah, I embrace it, but there's a point to where if drugs ain't gonna kill me, then my health, will kill me. So I
Yeah.
really need to go work out with Colton.
Yeah,
Probably.
me too.
Yeah.
So you said a while ago, you said that you got clean in the city. This is where you're from.
Yes.
So do you ever see people that you used to get high with now that you're clean? And did they ever try to tempt you or anything?
All the time. Maybe not all the time tempt me, but I see the people I get high with all the time. Uh, I had about 2 or 3 months into recovery, I had a friend reach out to me and he wanted to go to an NA meeting with me. So he said he told me he was clean. He allowed me to, he picked me up and we went to the NA meeting together, and I could tell he was,
Hi.
the voices,
Yeah.
raspy.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody's
Yeah,
using.
I
Yeah.
know. And he's acting a little different at the meeting, just kind of
Yeah.
being loud. And that was the last time I saw him. And
Yeah.
I hope the best for him, but the key to my success for recovery in my hometown is I cut all those old ties off. You can't be, you hang out in the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So what's something, if for all the listeners and viewers that are watching and hearing you right now, what would you say to the person who needs help?
You got to find that willingness. You have to find that willingness, and then you have to find the resources. I think sometimes it's hard to find those resources, but they're there. I didn't know about the resources in my hometown until it was presented to me. So I think that's a different area that needs to be improved upon. And I think we are improving on it by just doing this.
Yeah.
But you have to find that strength within you and that willingness to have a better life, to
Yeah.
live a better life.
Yeah.
Because, using every day to mask and hide the pain, whatever pain you have been through, is not going to get you anywhere but in the ground quick.
Yeah. So having the want isn't enough. You got to be willing to do the work that comes with the want.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up. Is there anything you want to say? Any closing thoughts?
I love you, man.
I love you too,
I
Kai.
love this life, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
So much better than the life we used to live.
Yeah. Yeah. You're an example of what recovery can look like. And, I know you're getting ready to graduate. You graduate next step in February?
Yes.
Okay.
February.
So what's your plans after graduation? Are you staying or are you going?
Oh, I'm staying.
Staying?
You're going to have to kick me out.
I ain't going to kick you out.
I
ain't going to kick you out, mate.
I'm staying because I know there's more to learn.
Yeah.
I don't know how long after I'm going to stay, because I know I still need to be out there to really keep growing. Yeah. But even when I move from the house, I'm not moving away from Next Step. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm still going to be involved because I want to give back.
Yeah.
And I know Next Step is
that
next opportunity I'm going to take.
There's doorways that can open for people in recovery through Next Step.
Yeah.
I look at some of the biggest jobs that people in the state of Arkansas have that are working in recovery. It's because they volunteered at Next Step and they came and they made those relationships through our relationships. And we enjoy helping people. We believe leaders make leaders, man. And, I've been blessed and I've taken those blessings and I've opened doorways for other people. And I intend, if it's God's will that I live, continue to do that as long as I'm alive.
And I appreciate that.
And that's the purpose of this podcast. So that, we've got, over 100,000 followers on TikTok, and we've got a large following on Facebook, and now we're busting through the doors with the podcast, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere you stream it, YouTube. And we want to give all the Kais in the world a platform to tell their story,
If the message reaches just one person, it's worth it.
Just one, man.
Yeah.
Because that one he or she may only reach one or two people in their whole life, But the life that comes after that, that one or two persons that they've reached, that person may go on to be a world leader. I mean,
yeah,
there's ripple effects to what we do here, man.
Definitely is. Yes.
Well, buddy, I love you. I'm glad you came
I love
on.
you too, man.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, man. And so please go like, subscribe, and follow all of our social media. You can find us at Jimmy McGill Live on Facebook, Prison to Purpose on YouTube and TikTok. We're on Instagram too, but it is struggling. We can't get anything jumping on Insta. But hey, don't forget to go follow Safe Haven, American Business Engine. That is my guy Ty, and he is responsible for putting the podcast together and getting it released and doing all the hard work behind the scenes. And thank you to everybody who supports us. And so we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to From Prison to Purpose with Jimmy McGill. Please subscribe on any of the major podcasting platforms and on YouTube at Prison to Purpose. This podcast is produced by Ty King with American Business Engine and executive producer Jimmy McGill. For more information, visit us at jimmymcgill.org.